appreciate the opportunity to come out, and I'm going to start off a little sappy, but this is true. This morning I was driving in, and I was driving in as the sun was rising. And you think about a lot when you see the sunrise. It's just a beautiful event that starts each and every day. But I was thinking about how lucky I am to be in a position to work with students. And in all reality, our students truly are the future of Paulding County. Not only Paulding County, but the nation. But all of us have difficult jobs, but sitting there looking at that this morning, I thought, how lucky can you be to get to work with people that are committed to our students, that are committed to our community, that are impacting this year over 30,000 students. And so I come to you this morning just being thankful for the opportunity to support the students of Paulding County, to have an opportunity to interact with the best teaching staff, the best support staff, I would say bar none in the state, and to also have an opportunity to work with the Board of Education who's committed. So again, it's back to school, and for us, we're in the position that it's hard to believe that we're actually sending progress reports home already tomorrow. It literally seems like just yesterday we started. And so if there's any students watching this morning, progress reports coming home tomorrow, you might want to talk to your parents about any issues. I'll share a little bit of a story with you real quickly, and I probably should have I have a timer up here. Several years ago, we invested in a student information system, and it has a lot of capabilities. And one of the capabilities was it'll actually let parents know when a student has a failing grade. Well, within the system, you toggle that off and on. Well, when we toggled it on, we got a lot of feedback from our students requesting we toggle it off, but that's one way we communicate with our parents, because we do know that in the age of technology we have to reach them different ways, and we want to provide them the resources that they need. So as we move on, I always like to start with our mission and vision. Our mission is to engage, inspire, and prepare, and our vision, which is our overarching global statement of where we want to be, is to prepare all students for success today and tomorrow. I would like to take a moment to share an important visit for us that is coming in October. That is, we'll have our Advanced Ed Accreditation visit. Accreditation is incredibly important to this district. It validates the good work that's happening, but also it's important to this community. So know that we are excited about our visit with Advanced Ed. I think we have many wonderful things that we're going to be sharing with them about the progress we're making with our students, which we're going to show you very briefly here today, but also just what a really positive environment we hope to continue to set for our students and families here in Paulding. Before I get into the demographics, I'd like to also share this. 2 years ago, many of you have probably seen the Simon Sinek video about why. I want to let you know at the core of what we do here is very important to us. We know what we do is we educate students. We know how we do it, which is providing instruction, a rigorous content, the support students need, the scaffolds they need to be successful. But the most important part of that is why you do it. And as a district, our why is to make a positive difference for students. And I think that everyone in this community should know the core of what we do is about that most important piece of our organization, which is the students. But as you look at our county, just some fast facts. We have 33 schools. That's 19 elementary, 9 middle, 5 high school, and an alternative program. And I will take a moment just to expand upon our alternative ed program. It has actually 3 functions for our district. First, it does serve students in an alternative environment that may have had discipline problems in school in a very positive and supportive environment. But we also have 2 other programs that are housed there at New Hope Learning Center, and there's soon to be a 4th. The other program is we have a virtual academy. So a student in Paulding County can, at the high school level, receive credits and have their program delivered in a virtual environment. That means if they're proficient enough, they can be at home, accessing content electronically. If they need support, we offer a blended environment. We have content certified instructors in each of the major areas that will support them if they need help in that virtual content. And of course, they can be there all day, every day if they choose. So we have a virtual academy, but we have another program we're extremely excited about. It's called Alphas, and that's to support our students who may be somewhat credit deficient and working to graduate them on time again. So we have a lot going on in our alternative school. As of the 20th, our attendance or our enrollment was 29,997 students, and people don't realize we are the 13th largest school district in the state of Georgia. We expect to crest 30,000 students this year, and are excited about the opportunity to impact more students each and every day. Also, want to share with you that we are a diverse school district. 60% of our students are white, 24% black, 9% Hispanic, 5% multi-ethnic. So as a community, we continue to embrace and grow and become a more diverse learning environment. And we're excited about that and want to capitalize on it because we have so much, again, to offer this community. I want to talk just a moment about growth. We actually spent some time on this in our last board meeting. Those of you who have been in Paulding for a period of time know that in the 90s and through the 2000s, we experienced rapid growth. There were years where we would grow 2,000 students a year. What I'm here to tell you is that as a district, we are on the front end of planning for our future. We don't want to be in a situation where we're caught unprepared for the growth that's coming. We had a facility study that was recently discussed in our board meeting, and basically the result of that was a long-range projection for enrollment. And basically the word is, and for those of you who drive around our county, moderate growth is returning to Paulding County. It's not the type of growth that we saw in the 90s and 2000s, but growth is returning, particularly in the northeast corridor of our community. The facility study also discussed really some real highlights that you need to know. One is our facility program has done well by our community and our students. We were able to, and we are able to provide the support that we need in terms of facilities. We maintain our facilities in an excellent manner, but with that growth, we're going to have to make some decisions in the future. So basically, we have established a website for those that are interested. It's a link on our main page, and it's planning for the future. So if you'd like to go there and look at the exact demographic information as well as really the key findings in the executive summary, that's available. The other thing I'd like to share before I forget to is, if you have questions, there is actually an email that we like for you to send those questions in. It's planning4thefuture@paulding.k12.ga.us, and that's also available on that piece of our web page. Now, where we aren't right now is we're not able to say, where do I need to move in order to stay at that school? Those aren't the types of questions that we can answer right now because, quite honestly, we're staying in front of this and engaging in the planning process. We're not able at this point, nor could we tell you at this point, those types of questions. But what we do want questions about is, and some of the information we'll provide you is, how are schools funded? What does the process look like? How are you going to engage the community? How can I get information about where this district is moving in terms of the future? So if you have those types of questions, and again, we'll answer any questions, that's our job. But I just also want to let folks know that we're not at that point where lines are being placed on a map. We're not there. Where we are is in the planning phase, because quite honestly, the results of that study said you're going to experience and continue to experience growth in the northeastern portion of your community, or our community. How are you to deal with that? Really, quite honestly, what we've been through in the past. One option is redistricting. Another option is building strategic additions at schools, and the other is new school construction. We're not here to tell you today what we're going to do. Our first step is going to go to the community. We're going to host forums where our community can come in. We're going to present them with the information and engage them in their thoughts on growth and where we need to go. Because quite honestly, the big piece of any part of initiative around planning and growth is also, how do you fund that? We currently have a SPLOST. It's in its 5th iteration, and we'll be planning for SPLOST 6 and are planning for SPLOST 6. But new school construction is not inexpensive. So we need to be able to make a case to our community based on that feedback, provide the community with a sound plan for handling growth in the next 10 years, and execute that. But it's going to start with getting feedback from this community. So again, if you have questions, we have that site set up. We'll continue to enhance it with information as this process moves forward. But we want the community to know that we're actively planning and look forward to hearing their feedback. As you can see on this chart here, if you could go back just real quick. Could you go back one real quick? This tracks our growth, our enrollment growth, I'm sorry, one more, from 1996 through currently. You can see here, this is that period of economic downturn where we actually had some negative enrollment growth. But what you're seeing here that you don't see over here is that moderate growth returning. We'll continue to monitor that. And it's not a one-time study, it's a piece of something that we'll continue to add to over time. So I'm ready now, sorry about that. Just want to talk to you a little bit about our district also. We are the largest employer in the district with over 3,400 employees. I'm proud of our employees. They do an amazing job. I'm going to highlight some of the things that you don't get to hear every day about our employees. You can see there's a picture of our board, excited to work with them. Some of the other things we have going on is, of course, a new college and career academy, which I'll talk about briefly. Some of the things that you don't get to hear about, and I could have filled up a slide with great things. We don't brag about ourselves enough, but we have students doing outstanding things. Scholars, 3 South Paulding High School students were named Georgia State Scholars. We have digital resources now, so if you're a student in school, we have Canvas, which is an online learning platform where we can place content in, assignments for our students. And one of the things we actually did this year, or last year, I don't know if you remember, we had a little bit of snow and stuff. I'm hoping that the almanac readers, I don't want to hear what it has to say about this year. But we're actually able to provide digital learning at home if needed through our system to keep our students engaged in instruction even when we're not able to have school on campus. All 5 of our high schools have been named AP Honor Schools, which is a huge deal, stretching for those students who need that additional support. And as having a parent of a student who is involved in AP and those credits rolling over to him as a college student is an incredible opportunity. Of course, we also have dual enrollment opportunities throughout this community and a magnet program at Paulding County High School, which is acclaimed. It's a great program. It brings students from all 5 of our high schools who have an interest in that medical science field and gives them extended opportunities. And also our athletics and art program. And you know, we kicked off football last Friday. We got a big weekend of football and volleyball and softball and cross country and are excited for all of our student athletes. Just a few things about our employees. First, these are the things that blow you away. Our drivers drive 14,491 miles a day. So when you're stuck in traffic behind a bus, which is the other thing that comes when school comes back in, adjusting your time schedule, that is a huge number to me. To let you know that we provide that level of transportation and support for our students, I'd like to thank our bus drivers. This year we added something. If you have kids in school, I would encourage all of our parents whose students ride bus. We have an app now that's called Here Comes the Bus. It's very similar to those apps that families may have where you can monitor where your kids are. This will give you real-time bus information for your child, let them know when they reach a radius that you determine, that it will send you notification when your child crosses into that radius. We've had over 9,000 families sign up for this, and that is impacting over 13,000 students. So parents get that peace of mind of knowing, hey, the bus is home, I know where my kid is, and we're excited to offer that. Another one that blows me away, our school nutrition staff serves almost 22,000 breakfasts and lunches every day. I would say we're probably the largest food service provider on a daily basis in the county. I say these things because so many people have to work to make this thing happen behind the scenes. You know, our teachers are down in the trenches with kids every day, but we got people who have important jobs that are truly there in that spirit of supporting them. And another one we don't talk about often is our maintenance department. We have multiple facilities of varying ages. We have thousands and thousands of air conditioning and heating units. We have thousands and thousands of pieces of equipment in our school that our maintenance department works on a daily basis. And I want to give a shout out to them because last year alone, they completed almost 6,600 work orders. A very small team that does that level of work. Without these folks who are the satellites that support our kids, we're not able to do the job that's needed in the classroom. So I want to personally thank them for all the work that they do. Let's talk about achievement. We're excited. Trends of growth are continuing. We'll have some good news on graduation rate. It is not published yet, but we expect to see this chart continue to escalate in terms of growth. Last year, our graduation rate was 84.6, 84.8%. We're not going to settle for anything less of 100, but I want to tell you we're continuing to make significant growth. Again, I'd like to share the number with you, but it's not official yet. But you'll see this chart continue to rise when those numbers come out. We realize that idea of the opportunity a high school degree provides a kid is critically important, and we are committed to all of our high school students getting them what they need to be successful, whether that is at the job force, which I know is particular interest to all of you in here, whether that's a technical or an associate's degree, a four-year degree, or the military. We want to have kids provide them opportunities. The next stat I want to show you is CCRPI. This is how we're gauged and graded. That growth trend is continuing here in Paulding County, and that is due to the commitment of our administrators and our teachers who are working so hard to provide our students what they need. Again, we are not where we want to be, but we are continuing to make progress and are committed to see that type of progress continue here in Paulding County, because we owe that to the students and the community here. Another example, and this is digging a little bit deeper into the data. As you know, our students take milestone assessments in school, whether it be elementary, middle, or high school, and I'm going to share some data with you here, just very general. But our elementary and middle school students scored above the state average at all grade levels in English language arts, math, science, and social studies. We maintained or increased scores in 5 of 6 grade levels for ELA, all grades for math, which we're really excited about, and both in grades for science and social studies, because we don't test every grade in science and social studies now. But as far as our end of course testing, we scored above the state in subject areas of 9th grade literature, American literature, geometry, U.S. history, and economics. So we're continuing to work, again, to see that success continue for our students. We know that's our goal, that's our core work. You know, we talk about a why, but you got to get into the what and the how. We got to give them the information they need to be successful in a manner that they can assimilate it. So we're continuing to show progress, which is very exciting to us. One of the ways that we hope to continue to support our students are these. We have action steps like any business does or any organization does. How do we get our students where they need? One is through, we recognize the importance of literacy. If you can't read, you're not going to be successful. We were talking about that just a minute ago. Reading is key to student success, and we've done analysis, and these are like yeah, I get you, but we can promise you if we have a kid in school who's not reading on level, they're not only not going to do well in their English language arts assessments, but they're not going to do well in science, social studies, or math. It just makes sense. So we know that literacy is that key piece that's going to get those students where they need to be, also in all their other subject areas. So we have a focus on literacy. We have some really exciting things going on at all levels, because we have placed interventions with the support of a grant that I'm going to talk with you about in a second, because we know we've got a group of kids who are there. You know, they are getting it, they've got it, but we also know there's a group of kids that haven't. We can't just say, I'm going to focus on you in kindergarten and first, because while we want to get kids early, and that's a key component of what we're talking about, we also have to identify those students who need that support in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, because we owe them that opportunity to be able to function highly and successfully wherever they go. So our interventions just aren't focused at the elementary, because we also know we have to support students at all other levels. We want to use research-based best practices, which is the exciting piece about this, is the programs that we're providing our students are research-based best practices. We could not use them with these grant funds if they weren't proven to have successful outcomes. We just didn't want to throw something on the wall and see what happened. These programs are vetted, and they're going to be successful for our students. As you in the business world, I look around the room with you in various occupations, we all talk about data. We have to use our data in order to determine next steps for our students. But what's great is it's not just us up here at the district office plotting points on a chart. You go into an elementary school now and you ask an elementary school teacher where their kid is with reading, they're going to be able to tell you where they are. And they're going to be able to say, this is my next step in order to get them where they need to be. So the data is great for us to be able to put on a PowerPoint and show you. Where the data is powerful is at the teacher level in the classroom, where they can make informed decisions based on what they have. But when we give them tools to do that, we can accomplish that goal. Here's the literacy grant that we talked about. We're very proud. We received the largest grant in the state of Georgia, $4.5 million to support literacy initiatives. I'd like to thank our curriculum team, our school improvement department, everyone who played a role in us landing this grant. We have moved fast. because as a district you got options. You can roll a program out whenever you want, but we haven't waited. We had a plan in place for how we're going to utilize those funds, and we have kids accessing those materials right now in classrooms in this county, and we're not even at the 30th day of school. So we know that we're on a mission to provide kids the skills they need, and we've provided resources for teachers to support them. There was a lot of work that went into this, and it was not me who was the spearhead of those initiatives. There are a great team of people who are working, visionary people, to support our students, and I tell you, having great people to work with is really a blessing, as all of you know. But again, we're going to be affecting 2 pre-K centers, which is a great part of this. This is a Cradle to College initiative. So we're working with 2 local pre-K centers. We're working with 11 elementary schools with this grant, 5 middle schools, and 2 high schools, all with the idea of improving literacy skills for our students. So we're very lucky to have, I shouldn't say lucky. We weren't lucky. We got what we deserved, the largest grant in the state of Georgia. Another thing that I think many of you have been involved in here, and Mayoris is out in the crowd, is our College and Career Academy. We'll actually have a groundbreaking for the College and Career Academy on October 2nd at New Hope Learning Center. Basically what we've done is we're taking part of that facility and we're going to turn it into a College and Career Academy. We're incredibly excited about this. I think it's going to be something that our business community, and I see many of our partners sitting in the room, people who've went on trips with us to help us get these grants, who have supported us through this process. But we're also about opportunities, because we know that students may not have interests or may have interests outside of what typically we offer, and that's really the foundational concept of a College and Career Academy, is what can we do to kind of cultivate our local businesses and support them and have a workforce that's prepared to come to work for them. So again, it will be opening in the 2019-20 school year. It will allow students from all 5 of our high schools to access the programs that are offered there, and these programs are unique to this academy. They will not be able to get this content in any one of our high schools. So it's a great opportunity for those students, and I'll tell you basically the pathways. Patient care tech, advanced manufacturing. When we talk about that, we're talking about robotics, how that's used in industry now. Cybersecurity, which I think will get a great deal of excitement around this idea, because I think we all know what a huge field that is right now. And we want to give students those initial steps to be able to be in that industry. And also energy, our energy pathway. We're very excited about this. This will actually provide students lineman skills, so they can go into that industry. And when we look at the College and Career Academy, we asked our community, say, what kind of jobs are out there? What kind of void do we need to fill? And this is another one of them. And I'm looking at our partners here from the energy community today, and thank you so much for your support. But we're going to be teaching kids those skills necessary to attain those jobs in the energy field. So we got a lot going on with the College and Career Academy. We received a $3.15 million grant for the Academy. $3 million of that will actually go to the renovation and modification of the facility, and the other $150,000 we can utilize for equipment and supplies. If you're not engaged in that process, Mayoris will tell you, contact her after this meeting. We would love to have your partnership, because this is a true collaborative between the business community and the school district. This is just again highlighting $7.65 million in competitive grants last year. And what that means is you've got passionate people who are going after opportunities for our kids, and I can't thank them enough. As we all, I think, are beginning to experience, it's a much brighter financial picture in our nation and in our community. And just wanted to give you some numbers in terms of our budget. Basically, we're estimating our 2018 revenues were $257.4 million. This year we're looking at $276.3 million. That's a difference of $18.9 million, or a 7.3% increase. Now, some of that's due to the legislature, and I'd like to thank our legislators. They restored the austerity cuts that had been in place for many, many years to the tune of $3 million. Of course, also our tax digest improved, which was a contributing factor to that. And one of the things that people don't know about Paulding County too is we are funded but through the equalization grant, and we saw an increase in the equalization grant as well. We are a low wealth county. drive around Paulding and you may not think it, but we're one of the largest receivers of equalization. And that's the state's mechanism to balance funding for low-well schools and high-well schools. So we received, $29 million in additional state funding through equalization. We would love not to have equalization because that would mean that we're not a low-wealth community. As you all know, we're primarily a residential community with not a lot of industrial base to support our tax system, but we are, of course, thankful to receive that funding because it allows us to continue to offer students what they need in terms of support at school. Just a little breakdown in our financing. Of course, 69% of our budget directly goes to support instruction through teachers, through the materials we provide, the technology we provide. One of the factors we often point out is that on that chart, 2% goes to what we consider district office or district level expenditures. And that's generally half of what other districts spend. So we're doing everything we can to provide the leadership and support, but also do that in the most efficient means. We're proud of that, but I'll tell you there are times that it hurts in terms of providing all the support we'd like to, but we're going to work diligently to continue to offer our kids everything they need because we, again, know they're the reason we're here. That's what we do, is provide them that support so they can learn and be successful. Some of the bigger pieces of the pie are going to be maintenance, transportation, school administration, but really what I wanted to focus on is the fact that our dollars go where they need to, and that's directly to support our students. One of the last things I was going to share with you this morning is talk about safety. That has probably been the topic of the year, not only for us last year, but as we rolled into this year. Our board allowed us and approved a budget that included an additional $1.1 million for safety. But what I want to let the community to know is safety is not new to the Paulding County School District. We have been on the cutting edge of being prepared for incidents for many, many years. Our commitment to having a designated safety personnel, a planner, a trainer at the district has been well back into the 90s. But I want to share with you, and I always hate reading off a list, but I want to. I want you to know what we were doing prior to this additional $1.1 million. Of course, we added SRO program at our middle and high schools, which puts a school resource officer from the Sheriff's Department in each of those. We had safety coordinators and safety committees in each and every one of our schools. We had a comprehensive safety plan in each and every one of our schools, and still do, by the way. We have a Safety First handbook that's for employees that discusses all components of safety, all eventualities. Of course, you can't plan for all, but I think we've done a pretty good job with that. And we've had a great collaboration, a great partnership with so many different community partners, the Sheriff's Office, GEMA, PEMA, all of those have been with us on board to make sure that we're providing the best opportunities to create those safe environments for our kids. We practice safety drills. We have locked classroom doors, and I know you're saying, well, yeah, why wouldn't you? But we do know that when there are crises in schools, when we've had tragedies in schools, those people who lock their classroom doors generally were those who were not impacted. So we have a real idea that we need to make sure our campus exteriors are secured, but also the interiors of our schools are secured. We have a visitor management software. We do safety inspections on our campus, and we offer online training for our employees. But what is new this year? We've hired a school safety officer this year, and he will actually be starting on Tuesday, September 4th. He will be a post-certified individual. We're extremely lucky to have Mr. Ruppel. He comes to us from GEMA and Homeland Security, so he knows school safety. That was his business. He was a coordinator here locally who worked with our emergency management folks. We're excited for him to be with us and be able to support and train our staff. We're adding and integrating access controls beginning at the elementary schools. So parents, in the future, as we roll these out, you will come to school, and prior to being able to get into the school, you will literally have to be buzzed in. We'll have a video camera at the exterior entrance of the school, and before you can come in, after school begins, you'll have to be identified and allowed to enter the building. We also have Raptor EMS, and I'm throwing just terms out to you. This is an emergency management system. This allows us internally to help organize in the event of an emergency or a relocation, which is, of course, one thing that we hope never happens. But we're prepared to know where our kids are, who's in the building, if an event of that nature would occur. We also were very fortunate to be able to add 5 additional school resource officers that will support our elementary schools, on top of the 3 DARE officers our sheriff's office provides. We'll continue to look at how we can enhance that relationship with the sheriff's department, but I tell everybody anywhere I go, one of the greatest partners the school district has is the Paulding County Sheriff's Office in Gary Gulledge. We're very lucky to have that level of commitment from our public safety here in the county. We've also added additional locks at schools. I told you the importance of being able to secure your campuses, but this is a challenge that we've been able to overcome through our maintenance department and making sure that the keys we have operate the doors they need to. And also we'll be adding additional enhancements. And I just put additional enhancements up here because, quite honestly, we don't need to tell everybody all that we do. We have other preparations in place, and I share that with you just so that you know there are other things that we do, but part of our safety plan remains internal in terms of how we deal with matters and what interventions that we have. The last thing I'd share with you this morning is we have a great organization, another one if you'd like to get involved in, that's our Paulding County Education Foundation. Again, this group works together. They're committed to our kids. It's a 501c3. The next event that they'll be hosting is Paulding's Next Star on September 15th at Paulding County High School. It was a sellout last year. So if you'd like to attend, this is where local town, it's our own little American Idol kind of competition. It was awesome last year, and we're looking forward to hosting it again. And I believe tomorrow or today may be the last day you can vote. Go to the Paulding Education Foundation website. You can view little videos and vote and see what kind of talented kids we have here in Paulding. That's what I have for you this morning. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to brag about the Paulding County School District. Again, we all feel so fortunate to be able to work in a community that supports their students, and appreciate what our business community does, what our local elected officials do to support the system, because we have such a great team to work with. But just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and I know I'm running you like 5 minutes left, but thank you.